Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Good morning. Good Monday morning. It's Monday. The weekend was not long enough. I'm sorry. The weekend was not long enough. But we're here Monday morning. The Lightning put on quite a performance in Chicago. Nick Geddes was out at the wrestling auditorium last night in what they have it in like a cafeteria or something last night. This AEW.
Why you gotta be so disrespectful like that? A cafeteria. First of all, go Knights, charge on. It was at the Edition Financial Arena on UCF's campus where they play basketball.
Oh,
so cool little setting last night.
What is that, like a 5,000 seat stadium? What is that?
Man, I thought it was, but I got there about maybe like an hour or so before the show started. The line was backed up from the front of the entrance, wrapped around the building, and back out to where the football stadium is.
Right.
Which, if you've been on the campus, it's a little bit out there, a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually have not seen something like that before for a wrestling event. So I think probably 10,000, maybe a tick over.
Who the hell waits in a line that long?
I did.
What? Why would you do that?
Because I'm a dedicated wrestling fan, and I was there to see my wrestling.
Why wouldn't you go grab a beer and wait till the line goes down instead of just standing in line? I can't stand standing. This is the most elitist thing I can ever say.
I had to get in.
I can't stand. Like was it Saturday night? We showed up at the Eric Church concert. Line was like whoosh, out the back, and I'm like, okay, I'm not standing in that line. Finding a way around the line. So I'm just going to walk around till I see an entryway where I see one of my friends that I work with.
See, well, that's what
get in.
That's how you operate.
So we went over to the luxury suite area where they let the suite holders in, and we just walked in. We had regular tickets, and we just walked in.
You know who you're sounding like?
But they didn't. The guy didn't say, "Oh, you don't have the right tickets." He just like, go ahead.
You know who you're sounding like? Your boy Colin. You come here on this program often.
At least I admit when I have an elitist attitude.
Lines
like I'm just totally self-aware. Yeah, I can't stand them. Like, but I'll if you have to wait in line, then I would we'll go over and have a beer in the Cigar City, and then just wait till it goes down. It means by the time the bulk of the people get in, you may at least you're sitting there having a beer instead of standing in a line. And then you walk, when the line goes down, you walk up and go in. You're going to be late, but you're already going to be late standing in the line. So why stand in the line? It's like the people that jump into traffic right after a football game. Why would you do that? Ridiculous. Go have a beer at your car or whatever. Sit there outside. Don't get in, because traffic makes me crazy. Traffic makes me effing crazy.
I was about to say, I remember when we went to one of those games this year, and I had to watch you drive.
Oh God!
And you refused.
Zero patience.
You refused to sit in any traffic.
No, I can't stand it. I'm claustrophobic, number one. So if I'm packed in, now I got issues. Now I got issues again.
Yeah. I remember when we parked in that front lot there, and you were like, no, this is supposed to be a lane.
Right.
And these people are walking in the lane.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And you were like, well, I don't care if they're walking. I'm just going to go and I'm going to pull my car in there.
So that's the 2-lane exit at Raymond James.
Yeah.
So 2 lanes. And people were just using one, letting people use the other one as a pedestrian lane when the pedestrian lane is on the middle side of the parking lot. So they were all breaking the rules. And the designated parking attendant people were not doing their parking attendant job by telling people not to walk on the road. So I said, well, we have to establish the second lane.
You became in charge at that point.
So, right. You have to take charge sometimes. So I'm going to establish the second lane as it should be. Since nobody else is doing it, I have to do this. And so I did that. And people were giving us dirty looks.
And I ducked my head the entire time.
I'm like, sorry. This is not a pedestrian walkway. This is an exit. So that was just not for me. This was for everyone. Establishing a second lane gets everyone out quicker. So actually, I'm doing a service for everyone.
And we got out.
It's selfless. And I'm taking all the heat for it. So
you're a world-class spinner. I see it. World-class spinner. I need to
that was a good one, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was a good one.
You need to give me some notes.
Yeah, that's how. Well, I was in the right, but people were not having any of it. They were looking at me like, "You douchebag, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm using the road.
I'm going home. What are you
I'm getting
doing?
the hell out of here and making it faster for you to get out of here. But you don't realize that right now. Anyway, so yeah, but the Eric Church concert was fantastic. Fantastic.
It did look fantastic.
Yeah.
I have many regret not being there that night.
Yeah, so I was walking to our seats on the fifth level over to where the Chase Club is near. Yeah. I walked by my friend's luxury box and I looked in and there was just two heads in there. I'm like, oh, let's see if he's in there. So I walk in, I'm like, hey, where's and they're like, oh, he's not here, not coming tonight. I'm like, oh, damn. And they're like, well, he goes, we're the only ones in here if you want to hang out. And we're like, okay.
Quite the seat upgrade.
So, we just got an upgrade. So yeah, that worked out really well. And Eric Church was fantastic.
Yeah,
he's really good in concert. He is one of those consummate, and his band is fantastic. So I saw the Eagles and Eric Church this week, and 3 hockey games in Amalie Arena. I just need a cot in that place. I need to have a room there.
You had a hell of a week.
That's a big week.
You've been in Event City. You went to you did Valspar golf.
Did Valspar Media Day, golfed with Rondé. It was a good week. That was a good week.
A week for the ages, right?
It
there.
was. Yeah, Rondé. And then Eagles that night, and then we saw Sid the Kid kick our ass.
Yep.
But we did see Sid the Kid at the Ottawa game on Tuesday, and then Detroit game, and then little Eric Church. Yeah,
not bad for a bit of an off season for you. There.
Not bad. And then the coup de grace yesterday was the brunch at Palmacia.
And you capped it off with a Palmacia brunch.
My goodness, that thing, went away for COVID.
Yeah,
like all the buffets went away, but it's back. They had. Let me tell you what. You want to talk about food porn? That buffet is food porn. They had a prime rib sitting on that carving station. That was straight up food porn. That a glistening piece
You're
of
killing
prime
me right
rib.
now. You're killing me.
Slicing it down. My buddy comes up. He goes, "Hey, have them take the prime rib, and they have the omelet station right next to it. Right? He goes, have them throw it in the pan, like a little, little
on and off,
little sear on one side, sear on the other side. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I went up there and I'm like, hey, can you do He's like, yeah, I got you. And then the horseradish on top of it. Oh my goodness. That was spectacular. And they had a shrimp and grits thing going on. And then all the other stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Good weekend. That was about the most elitist open of all time. Right there.
It really was.
It really was.
First 10 minutes being elite right here.
Yeah, that was, but you know what? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so the Lightning did have a hell of a game last night. By the way, we got a very interesting guest coming on today. I wanted to mention this at 10:45. Brian Reed is a local resident. He's the caddy for Matt Kuchar on the PGA Tour. So they're going through the Florida swing, obviously players this week. So the life of a caddy, I think, is just fascinating. I don't know about you guys, but I think I find it just fascinating to take us behind the scenes of the PGA Tour. There's a lot of politics going on there with this Saudi Arabian tour. Find out what the players are talking about, and just the caddy's job, I think, is just really a fascinating thing in sports. It's unlike where is there another? It's kind of like being a boxing trainer a little bit, but you're more. You're more in the arena, I think, than a boxing trainer because the boxing trainer's outside the ropes, caddy inside the rope. It's as integral a part of a professional sports relationship without being like the athlete. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, great caddies can make or break you. And anyway, we're gonna talk to Brian Reed and chat with him about. And Matt Kuchar, by the way, one of the great guys on tour, one of the most consistent guys on tour, has some I'm sure he'll have some great stories for us. So he's going to join us at 10:45. We'll be talking about we talked a little bit about this on Friday about Stu Sternberg and the lawsuit moving forward. When this lawsuit came out, it was poo-pooed widely by, of course, the time because they are the official spokesperson for Stu Sternberg. So you knew it was not going to be. I was actually shocked. They haven't covered this trial. You think about this. This guy is the owner of our baseball team here. Okay, he's being sued by his partners for some extremely unethical behavior that is alleged here. And when you dig into all of what's in the lawsuit, you can see how Sternberg has been completely unethical, mismanaged the franchise from a financial standpoint in terms of the his partners, which he's bound with a fiduciary responsibility to do everything in their best interest, and he's done everything else to screw them. You can't do that in business, and that's why he's getting sued. And we told you back, 9 months ago when everybody said, this thing is nothing, it's just a bunch of minority partners bitching about their money. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you actually take the time to read the lawsuit and read into it, there's some very serious allegations. And I've said this many times. I can't believe Major League Baseball has not commented on this. And I mean, to have one of their owners be alleged to be doing the things that he has allegedly done is very serious business. And the judge agreed last week to move this forward with a jury trial, which is the worst possible thing that Major League Baseball would want to come out of this. And if you talk to lawyers, and I have been talking to lawyers, they look at this case and they say, yeah, despite what Major League Baseball and all these powerful entities will certainly bring pressure to bear, there is a very distinct chance that he could be removed as the managing general partner. And if that does happen, the stadium happens overnight, because they would then put this into what amounts to a receivership. They would appoint someone to run the team. And that person could very much go forward with this stadium deal. Or Major League Baseball could remove him, as they did Vince Namoli, put another person in charge. Who would that person be? And we've speculated about a lot of different things. One of our Richie P, one of our loyal listeners, talked about this on Friday, that there's a lot of things that have happened over kind of in the background that are curious. They're just curious. I'm not, saying anything is imminent, but you just, as we do, we give you the information. We try to read the tea leaves, come up with some speculation, and usually things turn out that way. Frankly, historically speaking, and you look at the fact that Daryl Shaw, who owns the property that the stadium would be built on in Ybor City, stepped down as the CEO of Blue Pearl. Now, who knows, and that, which is the dog veterinarian place where they charge you a crap ton of money for not much. I would avoid Blue Pearl. Sorry, Daryl. So he stepped down from that. Derek Jeter, who was once interested in buying the Rays with his group before they bought the Marlins, stepped away from the Marlins. Mr. Vinnick has sold off pieces of his franchise, the Lightning, to other investors, not major pieces, but certainly, and has raised cash in the last year. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that are very, very interesting, and all of them point towards an Ybor City stadium being built. So I still, as I've maintained for 10 years, believe that this is going to happen. It's going to eventually be built there, and I think when the Hillsborough County releases its financial feasibility study, which should be, I'd say, sometime this month, we should have a couple of the commissioners on. Luis Vieira has agreed to come on. We're still trying to schedule that. And Ken Hagan, we should have some very positive movement in the next month. I mean, I think it's very, very possible. Now, this trial is not going to move forward for quite some time, but the threat of it being a jury trial, which is what the judge decided the other day, means Major League Baseball has got to make a move here. They're not going to let this go to a jury trial. They're not going to allow Major League Baseball's finances to be discovered in open court. They're not going to let that happen. So something's going to happen with Stu Sternberg. Either he's going to have to some way and settle, and I'm told these partners do not want to settle. They want him removed. And so if he comes to them with an offer and says, here's X amount of dollars to drop this lawsuit, they're going to get financial remuneration in the other counts, the first 5 counts, the 6th count to have him removed because he has willfully ignored or rejected his fiduciary responsibility to them. Then this is going to happen. Something has to happen here, and it's all good for anybody who wants a stadium built in Ybor, in my opinion. And that's any other owner would move forward with this stadium with Hillsborough County paying half, them paying half, or maybe it's more of a third, and then naming rights are a third as well. However they work it out, I think it's going to get, because financially it makes sense. So we'll see how that moves forward. Just wanted to give you a little update on that, and I think we'll see some news on that in the coming weeks, no doubt. The Bucs have to do a franchise tag by tomorrow. Now, we had speculated, and Scott Reynolds from Peter Report had speculated, I thought quite correctly, that Carlton Davis III would be the one who's going to get that tag. Now that's kind of switched to Godwin, which tells me that Godwin's representatives are, as they should be, they're unsure of who the quarterback's going to be. Why would we sign a long-term deal if we don't know who the quarterback's going to be? So it may be in their best interest as well to say, look, we're rehabbing the ACL. We feel like we're going to come back. We're not exactly sure who the quarterback is. So maybe it's best for both parties to do another franchise tag instead of a long-term deal. If I were Chris Godwin, I would not be comfortable with a long-term deal until I knew who the quarterback was. That makes sense, does it not? Yeah,
I just some truth to that from the Bucs standpoint. It's like you've had how long to make a deal, right? And I know the Bucs have really hit a home run on a lot of things, but to use the franchise tag on Chris Godwin just to guarantee you can get him, and then you most likely still probably get a deal with him before July. Well, then you're just letting Carlton Davis hit the open market, right?
Right.
And if he hits the open market,
or maybe they've agreed, maybe they feel like it's an easier deal to get done with Carlton Davis.
I don't think that's the case. So I don't think they are interested in a long-term deal with him right now.
I don't either,
because of the injuries, and we already talked about he's not a ball hawk corner. Right. I don't think you pay $20 million for a guy who doesn't take the ball away.
Well, and that's the thing, because I think the Bucs will sit there and say, "Look, we like you, but you're not an elite corner. Take the ball away. We're ranking it 1 to 10. I think Carlton Davis is an 8 or an 8.5. With 10 being a Hall of Famer, maybe. So 10 being a Hall of Famer, I would say he's probably 8, 7.5.
Yeah,
he's in that range. He's a hell of a cover guy, and our defense does not work well without him. By the way, because we need somebody that can play man to man on their best guy. Now he may not take the ball away, but he certainly can do a good job of keeping that person from being a dominant force in the game.
Yeah, and if he goes to the market, somebody's going to pay him like that. That's going to happen. So you could probably kiss him goodbye if he goes to the thing, and that's the worst scenario, because now you have to look to find your number one cover corner. You can't go into that with Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy Bunting as your top two corners next year. And that's when we talk about the Bucs contending. It starts to get further and further away from that if you let him get away. So. And Godwin, if he signs with the franchise tag, I believe it's $19.2 million towards the cap.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of things going away for the Bucs if that happens. There just is.
Well, as we said before, though, they can create up to $67 to $70 million in cap space just by reworking contracts, and that doesn't even count, guys like Ndamukong Suh. Oh, Ndamukong was on a 1-year deal. So there are some guys that are going to probably be cap casualties. So I think they've got plenty of room to work with, but it's going to go fast.
Yeah,
and when you're talking about, Cap is probably, his price tag, believe it or not, it's probably going to be in the $8 to $10 million range. Carlton's probably going to be in the $15 to $17 million range. Who else do they have to re-sign?
I think Jensen's probably.
Yeah, Jensen, I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, I think he's going to sign with the Bengals. $39 million has been widely speculated. Pac-Man Jones, who does a Bengals podcast, said that's probably going to happen. Our good friend Solomon Wilcox was on that show. So I think he's gone. I think they're kind of resigned to the fact that Robert Hainsey's, they've groomed him. They liked him. He's going to be their center. So you got to have guys like that step up. You draft guys, you develop them, you need them to step up, and he's going to have to step up. So, obviously by law, we have to talk about the Brady thing. There was no news over the weekend. Like he didn't blurb anything. He didn't post anything on his cryptically on his Instagram.
He had enough of having his name out there. He had enough.
Yeah.
He just wanted to, like he needs to. He just needs to fade away. Just fade away.
No, I would like something a little bit more definitive. I mean, I still think he's coming back. There'll be something this week. He'll do somebody's show. He'll do the Joe Rogan podcast or or maybe Carrot Top's podcast. I don't know what's next.
You want him to appear on the Joe Rogan podcast? You want to see where that leads?
That'd be good.
That'd be really good. I don't think you want to see where that leads from a public outcry standpoint.
I think it would be great. Why would it not? What's wrong with Joe Rogan? What did he do wrong?
I'd say he did anything wrong.
Of course he didn't do anything
I'm just
wrong.
Saying it's a public outcry thing.
Yeah. Well, those people are going to cry about anything. You can't worry about that. Can't worry about it.
Yeah.
They're going to cry anyway. So you can never satisfy them. So do what you do and don't worry about it. So on that, the Bucs front will expect a franchise tag, and it's gonna, that's everything is just a little bit more clue where they're headed, and to be to the risk of repeating ourselves, at least where I think this is headed, I think they're going with Gabbert and Trask, leaving the door open for Brady. Going to be a showdown with him. When he wants to come back and play, you're not going to play anywhere but the Bucs. So you got to decide, and then he'll decide whether they want to, repair the relationship and put it back together, which we laugh about it because we don't think there's some huge rift. I think there were some things that Brady didn't like. And at the end of the season, because he didn't win another Super Bowl, he was probably a little bit more butthurt than he actually is. And, time will heal a lot of that. And hopefully, you'll see what the Bucs do here in franchising people, make sure they got Godwin back, and then he'll make a decision. But I don't think that the Bucs are going to magnanimously decide, oh, okay, Tom, you're the greatest of all time. We'll take a 6th-round pick and you can go play for 49ers. That ain't happening. That is not happening. So we'll see. All right, let's get to the Lightning. Last night, they're on the road to Chicago. A lot of Lightning fans in Chicago, including my son Cullen, who went to the game. Enjoyed watching the Lightning put it on the Blackhawks 6-3 last night with a record-setting 3 goals in a span of 32 seconds in the third period. So they went from 3-2 to 6-2. Did they not? I believe it was. So the Lightning have Bally Sports Sun, courtesy of them, have put them all together. So here's what it sounded like. Let's go, boys.
Off to Sergachev. There's that snapshot. It's tipped and just kicked Fleury. Good pressure here for the top line. Long shot, scores!
Hedman.
Victor Hedman with another shot that finds the back of the net. And the big guy has got 2 tonight, and it is 4-2 Lightning.
Yeah,
Hedman,
your night's not over.
And Fleury is not really screened. He just
Andre
missed
Fleury.
this one. I don't think it was deflected.
He never saw that one.
Terrific long shift inside the
Or
zone,
just never got to
tiring
it.
out the defender.
So 2 goals now for Hedman. Another chance, they score! And Fleury slams his stick in frustration as the Lightning come right back. 2 quick goals. It's 5-2.
Chicago a little sloppy in their own zone. The cross-side pass from D to D. Corey Perry on the attack.
Nice
He
job.
ended up with 3
Tucked it
assists
right
on
inside the
night.
post.
He was on fire everywhere.
And they score again. Do you believe this?
Marc-Andre Fleury is like
3
skating
quick
to the
goals,
boards
and
like
the Lightning have opened it up and turned this into a rout.
Yeah, I think Marc-Andre misses Vegas just a tad bit.
Yeah,
after
I think
that
he does. I think he does. That wasn't those weren't. I mean, some of them were great shots, but some of them he should have had.
He should have had, but the defense on the Perry goal,
bad.
That's amateur.
That's really amateur.
But-
a D pass that skips over a stick, and then the Perry just rolls in and picks it up and turns to the net and fires it, and it's like,
Yeah, credit to him, by the way. Just turn and shoot. Don't worry about getting in closer.
No.
Just shoot.
shoot it, let it rip right away. And that Hedman shot was
Oh,
it wasn't as
bomb.
good as his other one, the power play goal. You have that one?
Yeah.
I didn't get the speed on that. I was guessing it was upwards of 98 to 100. This one, this is on the power play. Kuchar on the opposite side somehow threads a pass through 4 guys and 4 sticks onto the stick of Stamkos. And Stamkos, instead of his one-timer, as Fleury comes over to get ready for the one-timer, he passes it right into the midway between the blue line. It's not even out at the point because Hedman's moving in, and he's what? I don't know, 25 feet from the goal.
Yeah.
And he's stepping into it at the hardest shot in the NHL. This was a freaking blast.
Stamkos, Hedman with a shot. He scores! Victor Hedman with a rocket has tied the game. Power play goal, 2-2.
This all starts, though, with number 86 this time.
Yep.
Incredible pass by Kuchar. Guys just don't make these shots. This is how it all ended. But it's because the cross-ice pass from Kucherov to Stamkos right there goes through all 4 players of Chicago. And Stamkos then has everybody adjusting. It allows Hedman to walk into the shot. And Victor Hedman now has 12 goals on the season. He just hammered that one. Right wheelhouse for Stamkos and turnabout's fair play. Petty has put hundreds of great passes on Stamkos instead.
Yeah. Of course he has. So he's got 13 goals now, tied for 3rd most in his career, and his most since scoring a career high 17 during his Norris Trophy season of 2017 in 2018. So he'll probably break that, and he'll win his second Norris Trophy.
Yeah,
probably many to come.
Yeah, I think he's making a strong run for that here late. I think he's been locked in for most of the season, but now, especially that trio, and you probably could throw Point in there. Those 4 guys
are playing so well.
Are playing outstanding. I mean, even when the depth scoring may not be there, even though they got it last night, even when it's not there, those guys every night are bringing it.
But, I mean, we talked about this on Friday after they got destroyed by the Pens, and they came back with a nice effort against the Red Wings, but didn't blow them out. I mean, the Red Wings are not – they're still a very young team, and I think Yzerman hasn't been going in the right direction. They play hard. They're edgy, but they're not a playoff team, and the Lightning struggled to win that game 3-1.
And I thought the Lightning, though, played well.
He did.
I think Nedeljkovic –
he almost stole the game.
Which happens sometimes to the Lightning. They're all over it, but he almost stole the game, and they had to really fight for those goals. But I think the story in that game and in this game is maybe Vasilevsky. This game last night, some of the saves he made, I mean, vintage Vasilevsky.
Do we have any of those on the calls? That one he makes early on against Kirby Dack was, he comes across the crease and gets it with the stick handle. And by the way, is that luck? I mean, a little bit of luck, but he's still got to get over there and put that stick in, and these guys are good enough to just follow that puck and get whatever they can on it. And that was phenomenal.
He's been pretty good for them.
He has, and that's one of the names that's popping out there. Might
Turnover.
be moving somewhere.
And here he is again across the duck. And Vasilevsky got a piece of that one as it goes up and over the net. What a chance for Kirby Dach. Are you kidding?
Doc wants to see this. Lightning turn the puck over, and they have Sergachev caught up trying to follow
right
too
on the
closely
doorstep.
to the
Are you
forwards.
kidding me? With a
It's
wide
a beautiful
open net.
setup.
Well, how
the
the hell
handle of the stick.
That was unbelievable. But the one Patrick Kane late in, I think it was in the third period. My goodness, he's already spread eagle, post to post with his pads on the ice. He's out. He's on the post, the far post, I guess, in this sequence, and has to come all the way across. And Patrick Kane has a wide open net, and Vasi puts it right in his glove.
Yeah, sorry, partner. Stamkos with a shot after a good strip by Joseph. And details are way better. Here comes DeBrincat now. DeBrincat in, across. And Vasilevsky's got the puck. Another brilliant save.
Patrick Kane's got this look on his face like, you have to be kidding me.
DeBrincat makes an outstanding play. Look how little room he has to make that pass.
Unbelievable.
He and Kane understands that's the only pass he can make.
How they got the pass through, and then Vasi comes over.
Across. Look at the extension. Look at the push-off. Look at the reach. He is maxed out. He let go of the stick because it was still trailing behind him.
If you go to the Lightning game and you ever watch Vasilevsky before the game, and you see him doing these insane splits, and he's going to make those saves, that's why. Okay, he is quite simply built different than most.
Yeah, and he cut off his hair too.
He did cut off his hair.
Cut off the Samson locks.
An interesting look.
Yeah,
it's a very.
He looks so young.
Yeah, he looked like he shaved a few years off.
Yeah, he looks like a baby. All right, well let's cue up Cooper from last night, and he was predictably absolutely fascinated by his goalie, who once again just freaking stole the show in Chicago, and they come away with the 6-3 win and keep pace with Florida in the Atlantic.
Victor had mentioned it could have been like 3 or 4 nothing Chicago that first period when they were playing out. Like, what was the difference you saw from after the first adjustments you guys made that gave you the kind of chance that you guys were giving up?
Well, I mean, it's going to say, Chicago scored 3 goals on Vasi, but that was one of the more remarkable goalie performances I've seen in a long time. There's making big saves, but I think if you watch the highlights tonight, they should just show the saves he made. So that's what kept us in, and then our work ethic was what propelled us to win it, and we didn't have that going at all in the first period. So that's basically it.
Victor said that you guys started to come out with a little bit more desperation in that second period. You say that was
I would say that was the case. It was addressed after one, and we all had a little, gathered together and talked it out a bit, and then they came out and played with a purpose.
What's that save on Kane rank among the ones you've seen from Vasilevsky?
Like which one?
Yeah.
Like there was a ton of them. DeBrincat, and these, wasn't me shooting. It was Hall of Famer shooting puck. It's these were big time saves, and the goalie's there in the end to bail you out if you've broken down. We broke down way too often, and just something it's happened a little bit of late in our game, and you can't play the perfect hockey for 82. I understand that, but that was you're going to give some skilled players like that those chances. We were just fortunate. Pass was tonight, but within our control to limit those. We just didn't do it as well as we should have tonight.
Two of the first 3 goals were scored by guys that don't score a ton. Does that show the depth of this team, or how did you do that?
I don't know. It's a team sport. Some guys get more ice time than others, so it puts them in spots. And some guys are just talented offensive players, so they're gonna score more. I have some of these young guys put the puck in the net for us. And Ratty's goal was huge, for us. Footer gives us the lead there on the back door, but playing to the system and putting themselves in the right spots where they should have been, they got rooted for it. But in the end, you like to see those guys score. You want everybody scoring, but when guys don't get as many chances, offensively or probably minutes wise, when they score, you're happy for them. Still doing the Zoom thing?
Yeah, we're still doing the Zoom thing
on the road. Just what was it like seeing Johnny in a different uniform, and also what was it like having that moment before the game, handing him that ring?
Yeah, it's we've gone through a few
Tyler
of these
Johnson
this year.
got his ring for the game.
With plethora of guys. Johnny's a little bit different. Gordo had been with us for quite a while, and Goody and Coleman, and just a bunch of the guys. But Johnny's a little different. We all came in together. We were all in the minors together. It's the only organization he's been a part of, and there's kind of that group of guys with Johnny, Palat, probably Killorn, the only guys left that we were all in the minors together. So it was different. It was different to see him out there. I thought for sure he was going to score tonight. It's always been the way it is that, the former players, score on you. But it was these times that we've given the rings to guys, it just brings back a flood of phenomenal memories. And so anytime you can be brought back to one of the happiest times in your life, and Tyler Johnson's a big reason why we had those times. It's always great to see those guys. And you win together, you're always going to, have that special bond together. And it was great to see John.
There's Johnny Cooper right there talking about this effort against Chicago. Now they'll have a day off, and then at Winnipeg on this 6-game road trip, which will be very important. The Lightning, by the way, second best point percentage on the road this year, behind who? The Pittsburgh Penguins, who we saw the other night whoop our ass. And again, this is a win over a team that is contending for the cup in the Blackhawks. Winnipeg is up next, and we're going to start zeroing in on these teams that are in the top 10 that the Lightning have struggled against, and they need to be better against.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot on Friday and late. If that's your best against a good team like that, then you got to raise it to another level.
Yeah.
But I think
it's not cup worthy.
No,
how they play against Pittsburgh.
But as I feel, honestly, watching the Lightning win 2 Stanley Cups, I've always felt, okay, going forward, the regular season, it's like I'm on autopilot.
Right.
It's like we know where we're going to be in April. So, and rather than focus on, remember, that's what they used to do. They would 128 points, looks great. If you get to the playoffs and do nothing, it doesn't matter.
Squat, yeah.
So I think they've learned that kind of happy balance now after having 2 cups of let's position ourselves well in the postseason, but let's also be playing well going in. and let's not overdo it. And
Which I do think they have room to get a lot better. Like there's a lot of teams like now Pittsburgh, their feeling was among the Penguins and their media that was the best game they played all year.
Oh yeah,
they took their level to another, and it was certainly not the Lightning's best effort.
No,
but you might say, Pittsburgh's just better than us this year, and that might be true. But I as I've said, this team has banked 76, 78 points, and I think they have enormous room to grow because they just haven't played a lot together.
Yeah.
I think, this coaching staff has shown that they develop and get teams ready for the postseason. Clearly, you still have the best goalie in the game. You have a battle-tested, playoff team that is not going to be rattled. So, I mean, am I concerned about what I saw against Pittsburgh? Hell yes.
Yes.
Hell yes. When you mentioned this last week, the Lightning's numbers, power play, I think is 17th. I mean, their numbers are very average.
Very mid, every category.
That wasn't the case the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So that's another sign that says, from a metric standpoint, maybe this team is not as good as those teams. And they're not. They're not. I mean, they're just not as good as those two teams the last couple of years. They're not. But they have room to get better these last 29 games as they head into the playoffs.
And unlike Pittsburgh, and I can make the argument for Florida, Carolina, Colorado, the other best teams, those teams are playing their absolute best hockey that we've seen them play
They are.
in the last few years. And you don't want to peak too early.
Right.
And Pittsburgh is on this unbelievable run. I mean, they started out slow, got Crosby, Malkin back, and then they looked like the best team in the league, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to peak, though, in February.
No.
In March.
No.
And the Lightning, I think, have mastered that the last 2 years. When you get to a playoff series, it is hard to be. I mean, what's that stat? The Lightning haven't lost back-to-back games.
58 games.
And that's in the regular season. In the postseason, they haven't lost back-to-back games in years either. So I mean, they're going to be a tough out, regardless of how they're playing now.
A couple other tweets coming out this morning. Greg Auman has this one. A second tag for Chris Godwin would keep him off the open market, but at $19.2 million would eat up a major part of the Bucs salary cap space. Even once they've made moves to free up room, you have until July to make a long-term deal, but other key free agents would be long gone. And that's the case. Scott Reynolds also tweeted out something similar. He said, if the Bucs have to use the franchise tag on Chris Godwin instead of Carlton Davis III, that's bad news. Godwin and the Bucs have had a full year to get a contract extension in place. Inexcusable. It's a shame to have to use the tag on Godwin again when they need it for Davis. Absolutely 100% correct.
He's spot on.
Yeah, but if I'm Chris Godwin, I'm sorry. Until you get your quarterback situation solidified, I'm not signing a long-term deal. I think Godwin wants to get one done, but he just, this is the business part. He wants to be here. He loves the fans. He loves everything about the Buccaneers. He loves everything about it. But it's business. I can't move forward if I don't know who and if it's going to be Kyle Trask, okay, then I can make a decision. Now I can make an informed decision. If it's going to be Brady, it's a no decision. I mean, obviously I'm coming back here even if I know Brady's not going to, but I'll do it for one more year and we'll figure it out from there. But you got to have some information. And this is what is, part and parcel of what I was talking last week. And this is why with Rodgers and Brady, this hurts the team. Now, in Brady's case, he may seriously be done. But if he doesn't want to play for the Bucs and will not play for the Bucs ever again, he probably needs to communicate that maybe in more direct terms to the Bucs.
Yeah.
Now, the Bucs may sit there and go, oh, yeah, of course, you're just posturing because you want to go play in San Francisco, and we're not going to let that happen. But they got to feel it out.
But I will say a quick point on Godwin here. I don't take him to be this kind of guy, and I don't think you do, where he's like chasing I got to be the highest paid or anything like that. No. But I do think, receivers, players in general, I'm never going to fault anybody for trying to get the bag. You have a very short shelf life in this game, and we don't know what the offers are that they've been discussing with the Bucs. And Mike Evans, what's his number at? Like 16 million, 17 million a year?
Yeah.
I'm curious where Godwin's number is. Was it more than what Mike was getting? Was it less? Is he looking at that?
It's going to be more than Mike is getting.
Is he looking at maybe I'm more valuable? I don't know. I don't take him to be
I don't
that
think
guy,
he is, but he's got to. But here, this is a huge decision for him in his career. This second contract is huge. And out on the open market, he's going to demand $20 million or more. So even coming off an ACL, everybody knows how important this guy is.
Yeah.
So, this is a long-term commitment. It's going to be probably where he's going to play for the next 4 or 5 years. He's a competitive guy. He doesn't want to go through a rebuild. When he can go play with anybody he wants in this league, just about, when you have that kind of power and flexibility, and he may get an offer from, I don't know, Pittsburgh. and they're bringing in Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. If that was an opportunity, would you want to stay here with an unknown quarterback or go to Pittsburgh, play for the Steelers franchise with Aaron Rodgers and make about the same amount of money? Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
I mean, I think it's clear if he got onto the free agent market, I think he could probably make upwards of $5 to $6 million per. Then the Bucs could probably pay him.
I mean, more.
Yeah,
more.
Yeah, per annually. I think teams probably could, but on the flip side of that, you said Pittsburgh, a team that's going to throw a lot of money at that's going to be a desperate team.
Yeah,
like a Miami, a New York Jet. I mean, one of those teams, right? And it's like, do you really want to?
He doesn't want to do that.
I don't think
he's too competitive a guy.
I mean, you just came from playing with Tom
He's
Brady.
not going for the
do
money and assuring himself of a losing organization.
Yeah.
He's not doing that.
Yeah.
Although I think Miami's a much better situation than the Jets. But still, do you want to go play with Tua, who can't
I don't think so.
push the ball down the field?
I don't think so.
No, hell no.
But the flip side of this, the bright side, I guess, if you want to call it that, I think it's a shame if the Bucs don't get a long-term deal done. Like
Right.
Scott said, they've had so much time to do it.
Right.
But if you're a Bucs fan, hey, Chris Godwin is all but guaranteed to be playing here in 2022. So
but that's going to hurt you.
It's going to hurt you somewhere
because Carlton
else.
Davis is going to get away.
Yeah, he's probably going to get away. But just saying, if you were scared that Chris Godwin was going to leave the Bucs or he's not going to be here next year, he's going to be here one way or the other.
And by the way, they could get a long-term deal done with Carlton Davis. I just don't think the Bucs are really interested in. Yeah, I don't think they want it because of the injuries.
And truthfully, too, the Chris Godwin, I mean, he's had injuries, obviously, and he's injured right now.
Yeah.
And I know we keep saying, like in the old days, when somebody gets an ACL, we'd be looking at Godwin's timeline going, oh, we'll see him in week 8,
Yeah, he'll be ready week 1.
He probably would be back week 1.
Yeah.
So
with stem cells and everything else going on now, I think he'll be ready week 1. All right, there's a 40-minute open for you, Cats. As we love to do, we give you lots of content, no 8-minute breaks like you'll find at the other station. This is all about content. But we do have sponsors, and we thank them very much. And we are sponsored by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, who will be on the show tomorrow to discuss all the legalese in this Stuart Sternberg suit. So coming back with Brian Reed, caddy for Matt Kuchar on the PGA Tour. Really fun conversation. Stay with us. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@mstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's Greenleaf Title. All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. So if you have any issues with your builder, whether it's commercial or residential, maybe they've, because of the supply chain issues, cut some corners, then you're not too happy with what happened. And it may be, years gone by that you've moved into your home and they did not build it correctly. You may have a case. So contact Chris Palermo. And just go to PalermoPA.com. That's the website, PalermoPA.com. Get all the information there. You can email them or call them. He'd love to talk to you, give you a free consultation. Please mention you heard it on the JP Peterson Show, and he'll hook you up. And also, if you have any storm damage or any water intrusion, damage to your roof, just a regular storm, whatever, these things that come through, well, give him a call. You might have a case to get a better settlement from your insurance company. That's PalermoPA.com. All right, we want to welcome in Brian Reed, who is a St. Pete resident and a big fan of the show. So we thank you very much for that, Brian. But more importantly, is the caddy for Matt Kuchar out on the PGA Tour. What's up, Brian? How are you?
Great. How you guys doing?
Well, I'm guessing you guys didn't play this weekend at Bay Hill, huh?
No, we did not. He didn't play Honda or Bay Hill.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks off. We played 3 in a row on the West Coast, and kind of gearing up for the players in Valspar this year. So,
did you watch the tournament yesterday? The ridiculous winds, baked out greens, thick rough. The players were pissing and moaning. I bet Matt's pretty okay with his decision not to play this week with the conditions that were out there.
Exactly. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and I was out my daughter's birthday party, and I was out on the boat, so I missed the end of it. But I was kind of tune in later on to see what happened with my buddies out there. So
yeah, Scotty Scheffler got the win, and it was just brutal out there. And I guess and I really thank you for joining us, because I just love the whole. I'm fascinated by the relationship between caddy and player. I think it's one of the most unique things in professional sports. Because you guys are so integral to the success of the player. And really, as kind of most of you are just completely anonymous. I mean, we know who head coaches are. We know who, trainers are in boxing, but we don't know a lot of the caddies. And you guys are, as I said, very instrumental. So I think it's a very interesting relationship. Can you kind of describe what it's like, how you and Matt work together?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a marriage, really. So you're with someone so much, and it's obviously it's a skill, but you have to it's about relationships and knowing that it's communication. You can't. I mean, obviously you got to spend so much time with someone. If you don't get along, that's it's not going to work out. So you have to you have to be good at what you do, and then you have to somehow you have to get along out there, and you have to know how your player wants his information, and you don't want too much information. You got to you got to speak up when it's time to speak up. There's the old saying that used to be shut up, keep up, shut up, show up. But that's old school days, and it's now there's caddies that are just. Ted Scott, who I just texted for congratulations yesterday. He it's confidence for these players, so they get a guy on the bag, and they just it's funny how it works. Like he's won twice now in the last 3 weeks, but and his other caddy was a great caddy and a good buddy of mine. It's just sometimes a little just sometimes like with a coach change, the Bucs Super Bowl when he came on, sometimes it's just one little thing that might be missing, and it's not that caddy's fault or whatever, but it just happens.
Matt obviously is most famous for being, I think, the richest, has won the most money on tour without having won a major. And he's finished in the top 10, I think, in all 4 majors, every single one. And has had lots of close third, tied for third at the Masters in 2012, tied for 7th at the PGA in 2015, tied for 6th at the U.S. Open in 2010, second, the runner-up at the Open Championship in 2017. I imagine you were on the bag for that particular one. Kind of remind me on how that went down.
So actually, I was not on the bag. I started with him a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I've worked for Matt. I've been buddies with Matt for a long time. Kind of worked for him a little bit back in 2005, just kind of filling in, and then I worked for him in 2014 during the playoffs. And I had the timing was never right. Kind of funny. I was working for Kevin Stadler, and we went on a great little run. And Matt asked me to help him find a caddy, and I should have, I guess, taken that job, $52 million later. But at the time, it's all about time. I had a good job and a good player. I was working for Kevin Stadler, and he just won a big tournament in Australia and a couple of, events. And so it was kind of like you never know. It's just the talent. But Kuch he's one of the best guys to work for. He's just, every day he shows up with a good attitude, and he loves golf. And he's 43 now, but he's still grinding. He works at it super hard, and his attitude is it's great to work for. He's funny. He's always joking around, and he's never, even if the pressures. I mean, it's you mentioned the major with Jordan Spieth, the British Open a couple years ago.
Yes, yeah.
That was kind of an unfortunate break for Kuch. When I don't know how that wasn't out of bounds. That Spieth balled, and it took 40 minutes to play the hole. But we had a little redemption last year at the match play. And I think it was the quarterfinals, and Kuch and Spieth were paired up in the bracket, and Kuch hit it on the 16th hole, and it's a horrible. It was not going to find it, and Kuch kind of summoned the crowd to come help look for the ball, and we found it, and it was kind of, I thought it was kind of a little bit of a payback, so we ended up winning that, and we went on to finish third. We lost to Scotty Scheffler, but it was a heck of a tournament for him. So. Hopefully that's, he also won the Players too. So.
That's right. Which is this week, and he'll be competing again. But I remember that 2017 Open now where Spieth hits it way to the right. And I thought I gave him great credit for being in the moment and walking through all the rules, and had to basically, I think, convince the rules officials that he could play the ball from there, right? And it took forever, and that's not necessarily fair on your counterparts playing. But in a moment like that, it's debatable. Was that good sportsmanship? Was it done correctly? I guess everybody will have an opinion on that. But for Matt, that was probably a tough way to handle that, right? I mean, just sitting around waiting for this all to kind of go down.
Oh, for sure. He, we haven't really spoken much about it, but obviously, that's a painful one. But he's, such a class act and good sportsman, and he's still buddies with Spieth. Spieth's one of the. Of course. I love Jordan. His caddie's a good buddy of mine. I think they're great for the tour, and he is as good as they're both as real as they seem. I mean, they're not fake. I think Spieth is just such a good kid. He's so good. He's such good, good for the game.
Absolutely. And again, you don't blame anybody in that situation, but if you're the guy that has to wait, that's a tough, you're not pissed, but you're disappointed. That's a tough way to try to win a tournament like that. So, it's just the way the situation worked out, but no one handles it better than Matt, who's always as happy-go-lucky out there. Now, so you got the Players this week, obviously, and he's won there, and his biggest tournament win to date. What does this particular venue mean to Matt? And does he have a chance to compete this week? I think he would. I mean, he knows this course as good as anybody. He executes as good as anybody. He's got to be really upbeat about going there this week, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. We just spoke a little bit this morning, because typically I would drive up today, but he went to this coast suite, and I'm on meeting tomorrow, so I'll drive up early in the morning. And the weather forecast does not look good. I just kind of looked at that, and it's, we had an unbelievable West Coast. LA can be dicey, Pebble can be dicey, and the weather has been awesome all the way through now. But I guess there's a front coming through, and it's supposed to be rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, blowing 20 to 30 with lows in the upper 30s. So it's kind of the worst case scenario for a March player. So
wow, lows in the upper 30s. Wind and rain.
Yeah, I just looked at the forecast. Yeah,
it's close to snowing.
That's not looking forward to that. But
if we get snow at the Players, then we got then the caddy's job is really going to be tough. So what do you do in a situation like this? So you get the weather report. So you've got to add, I would guess, more equipment to the bag in terms of weather stuff. How does it work for the caddy?
For sure. Well, I mean, obviously, look at the forecast in the week, and we'll carry. He'll have his gear. We'll put it in the bag, and then the umbrella, which I have a funny umbrella story, which I worked for Kyle Stanley for 4 years prior to Kuchar, and he won Tigers tournament up in DC. He beat Charles Howell in a playoff, and I was working for Kyle, and we had the final round, final group, and the rain forecast was 0% chance of rain, so nobody had an umbrella. I mean, it was hot. It's DC in the summer. Right. Just didn't have the umbrella in the bag, and no chance of rain. Don't worry about it. And we get to the 16th hole, and I see a big rain cloud, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. And it starts pouring on the 17th hole. I don't know if you remember the tournament. There was a guy on the 7th. Sung Kang was in contention, and he missed about a 4-foot putt, and he had his hat on backwards. He had water dripping off his hat, and we get to the 17th green, and I see an official, and rain's starting to puddle up on the green, and I'm like, Kyle, you're not hitting this putt right now. You can't. And I called for an official, and I think it was Mark Russell, who's another Tampa native and a great guy.
I know Mark. Yeah, I know Mark.
He came over, and he's like, I go, Mark, it's not playable right now. There's rain's puddling. He's like, hold on a second. It's a real Southern accent. He says, we're going to hold in position. So there's a picture of Kyle and I and Charles Howell and HD. We're standing in our umbrella, just getting poured on. And as we're kind of waiting, all of a sudden the rain stops. Kyle goes on and makes like an 8-footer, part of the last, and we beat Charles in the playoffs. So it's kind of that spooked me. So I want to have an umbrella all the time now. If it says 0% chance,
you have an umbrella.
I'm scared about that. So it's part of the equipment.
So you must have some amazing stories. Like, do you have any good? Yeah, everybody wants to know about Tiger. Do you have a good Tiger and Matt story? Yeah, I don't. You probably haven't been out there a lot with Matt and Tiger, because the Tiger hadn't played a whole lot in the last few years. But any of those good stories you want to share?
Well, Tiger, I mean, I've been paired with him a few times, not a ton, but he is just. I mean, I think he's awesome. He's obviously, that goes without saying, he's great for the game. His caddy, Joe Cobb, is a great guy. buddy of mine. I've known him forever, you know, since when I first came out there. He was with Fred and kind of always looked up to him. And Tiger is just, it's a different world for him that it's just, no one really can understand the stuff he has to deal with. And every player kind of looks at him when he walks by, and he just, you know, signing autographs for players, caddies, all that, you know, there's stuff left all the time. So it's crazy. And I know in LA this past a couple weeks ago, we were out there and he was there, he was the host, and we got done with the round on, I think, Saturday. And, you know, you just hear this just scream outside the clubhouse, Kuch and I in the scoring area. And then, you know, Tiger just kind of walks in through, you know, the doors and kind of looks over and says, "Hey, Kuchie," and just kind of kept walking. It was just kind of funny. He's just it's crazy the stuff that he has to deal with on a daily basis. And, you know, if one person doesn't get an autograph, they think he's a jerk, but it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The vibe when Tiger is out there, I remember when he played at Innisbrook a couple of years ago, you know, and I actually got a chance to be inside the ropes at Congressional in the 90s, early on in his career. Back then, they used to let the press walk inside the ropes. And it was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. And that was at the beginning of his career. It was crazy. And then, you know, 20 years later, we're walking with him out at Valspar. And I'm just like, you know, I've been covering sports for 30 plus years. There's nothing like it. I mean, Super Bowls, Final Fours, whatever you want to call it, college football games, national championship. There's nothing like the electricity when Tiger Woods is on a golf course. And that wasn't even that wasn't even the Masters, right? I mean, can you describe it?
It's crazy. Oh, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. My cell phone never works when he plays in the tournament because there's way more people there. So it's that's kind of the inside joke when you working. But so the Masters that he won in 19. Actually, I'll go back to the Tour Championship when I was working for Kyle. We were paired with Justin Rose.
Right.
That final day, and Tiger was behind us, and I got done, and I'm trying to catch a flight to get home and, you know, see my family. And I missed my flight because of just the madness that happened that day. But I was sitting there when he came through on 18. I was sitting on the clubhouse just watching it. It was just unbelievable just to see just the people just going. I mean, it's just like you said, it's different. But the Masters that he won in 19, the caddy area, which that's my favorite part of the Masters, is the caddy room is right off the range, and players eat lunch in there, hang out in there. It's like a glorified fancy Waffle House, and you kind of order whatever you want. They have beer on tap. It's awesome. And the players hang out in the caddy room there at the Masters because it's right on the range. So that Masters was a weird one because Kyle was playing decent that year. We teed off on the back nine, which never happens because of rain. Yeah. And so we finished about an hour or so before Tiger. And I was supposed to drive home that day, and I'm sitting there having a couple beers with some other guys, and I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm going to watch this and not staying that night and watching it because you know that's
of course history.
Obviously, it's historical, but it's just crazy when he's out there. Like you talked about Congressional, working for Kevin Stadler back in 2000. I think it was 6 or 7 or 8. We're playing in his tournament, and we're paired with Tiger on Saturday, and it was like nothing I'd ever. You know, that was my like 4th or 5th year caddying on tour, and just to see the people, every hole, every fairway was lined up, you know, 30 deep of people. Yeah. And they just, and he was so great to Kevin that day. You know, Kevin was a young guy, and he just kind of didn't say a lot, but what he said, he was just kind of funny and just kind of try to lighten it up a little bit. And I made a caddy mistake on the first green that I've always learned from. On the first hole, that Kevin and Tiger had putts that were both about 8 feet long.
Right.
And Tiger looked at me and was like, "Who's away?" And I kind of said, I think it's just you, Tiger." So Tiger makes it, and it's just chaos, and everyone runs to the next hole. Right. And now poor Kevin's got an 8-footer he's got to make for par that he's got no chance of making. I'm like, sorry about that when they're sads.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that you got to deal with.
So for golfers, if you're not a sophisticated golfer, you would want the other player to go first to see the line normally. That's a good call on the caddy's part. But in Tiger's case, it's going to create all kind of pandemonium because everybody's going to start rushing to the net hole and nobody gives a shit about the other person playing with Tiger. So yeah,
100% for sure. I mean, their putts weren't similar lines, but yeah, you just want to do your thing and stand by the green and let him do his thing. You got to get out of the way.
So Tiger gave you an out. You can say, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
Like, nah.
And he just says some funny things too. I remember that same day he hit the bunker and actually, this was when Stevie Williams was caddying for him, and Steve's raking the bunker, and I, common courtesy in the group, be clean, the ball, clean off the ball for him, and I go, and he hit this unbelievable bunker shot. I was like, that was pretty impressive there. And he goes, not bad for me, and kind of gave me that little smile, just kind of joking. So, just stuff like that. It's
all right. I got to ask you this.
And,
I got to ask you this while we're talking Tiger here. He's notorious for his public flatulence on the golf course. We know this. So.
Oh, yeah. So is my man, Matt Kuchar. He might be worse.
Oh, really? See, now we're getting the good stuff. So Matt's better than Tiger in that arena?
I think it'd be a tough match.
See, only on this show do you get the really, really good stuff, folks. All right, so as you approach this kind of run here up to the Masters, I mean, obviously for Cooch to be able to win the Masters, is he in the Masters this year? I would think he is.
So this is the first year he's not in it for a while, so we need to do well here to get back in it, which is kind of disappointing. And that's also kind of another reason we're playing the He hasn't played the Valspar in a couple of years because he loves it.
Right.
But he's in the match play, and we're not in it this year. So that's kind of it's just the way the skill falls, and you kind of get here. But he loves the Valspar, so I'm kind of excited we can play it this year.
Awesome. What do you think of that course, and how do the players think of it?
Everyone loves it. I think it's not a typical Florida course, so it's very it's just something different. It's all about scheduling. These guys play. There's so many good tournaments in Florida, and it's hard to. But it looks like it's got another good field. And Tracy West, she's awesome. Yeah. Like I've done some speaking things for her and that whole group, and it's first class organization, and they're one of the first tournaments on tour, like caddy privileges, and
yes.
They were one of the first ones that we could actually go into a proper into the clubhouse, use a actual real toilet and catered food, and no one really speaks about that, but they first class all around, and they do dinners that week. It's awesome. She's great.
Yeah, it's a great call. Of course, by the way, I played in the media tournament out there the other day. Hit a drive had about a 110 in on 16. Just I kind of faded it over that tree.
Nice.
Hit it to about 15 feet and rolled in the putt on 16. So if Matt's that, I mean, I'll give that to him.
Yeah.
You can have that birdie on 16.
That could cost a lot of money there. That's a big birdie.
See how he worked.
Great little hole.
See how he worked that in?
A little slider driver.
Yeah, I did. I smoked, but I will say this: we were hitting from the white tees, which is about 60 yards in front of where you guys are. But still, hey, that's a tough shot on 16, right? That's that tee shot on 16. What would you? I mean, Matt hits a little buttercut, doesn't he? Or what does he hit?
He does.
Yeah, that's
what
he does.
Thought. So I mean, a lot of guys will hit 3-wood just because, but some of the bombers could. They take it over a lot of it, but it's just if you pull it at all, then you're dead. Then you're chipping out.
Yeah,
so it's very. And then if you block it, obviously you're in the water. So there's not much leeway. You have to step up and hit a shot. It's kind of under the limit. It comes at the right time on the golf course.
What's the best shot you ever seen Matt hit?
Oh man, the best shot I've ever seen him hit.
I know that's.
I can't think of he's hit so many good ones. I can't.
Where you guys are talking it over, and he's like, "I think I can take it through this little window here in the tree, and I'm gonna bend it about 30 yards, blah 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 blah." And you're like, "Well, okay."
Well, last year at the Masters, we were coming down on the cut line Friday morning early, and he did not have an 8-iron in the bag. I won't go in the whole story, but we did not have an 8-iron in the bag that day. So we were playing without an 8-iron. That morning was broken. We did not have it. So we had, and of course, an 8-iron, as soon as you don't have a club, that's what you need.
Of course, 3 times.
So the first hole we needed, it was, 8-iron, we needed it. So we hit a little 7-iron or a big 9-iron. And that was kind of the case all day. 12, he hit it in the water. We needed an 8-iron. He hit a 9, it's just kind of that thing. We get to 18 and we need to make birdie to make the cut, I thought. And we have a perfect 8-iron number. And there was a front pin, which is a tough one because if you go long, it's a tough pin.
Yeah.
They're all
front
that's
pin,
a tough green.
Yeah.
And he hit, I forget the exact number we had, but it was like, 150, 148 adjusted. And it was just a nice, just normal 8-iron. And he hit this little sauteed 7-iron to like a foot tap in. And
nice.
I thought it was just, at the moment it was great, but it ended up not mattering because we ended up missing the cut by 1 anyhow. But it was just some of the shots he can hit. It's just crazy. He hit so many good shots. The match play, we had last year in the match play, we had a tough bracket with just Spieth. We had Spieth, Justin Thomas, Kisner, Oosthuizen, and he beat all those guys to make it through. And we ended up losing to Scheffler in the semis on Sunday morning. But just some of the shots, these guys hit, they're all so good. That's what I can't tell people how good they are. Like my first year on tour was 2002. I came out with a guy named Donnie Hammond. We were buddies.
Yeah.
It was back when I was still trying to play. I played a little bit and, mini tours, and I came out for a summer gig, and here I am 20 years later, still doing it.
Yeah.
But he just, the amount, the players now, it's night and day. I'll tell you that. It's just crazy how good these guys, they come out ready to win, and they're all so good.
I've played with I played with some pretty good players. I've been blessed to play with some really good players, and I played with the most amazing thing for me are guys that are you get in a pro-am and nobody's ever heard of them, right? And I've probably never heard of them. I got to look them up. You go out and play with them. You're like, this is the best golfer I've ever played with in my life, and this guy can't break the top 100. I mean, they just never miss a shot. Yeah. They never miss a shot, and they can't break the top 100. And it's fascinating to me. I'm like, my God, you're so good. It's like, yeah. these other guys are really good.
Day, and that's Pro-Am Day, and not that they don't try on Pro-Am Day, but it's once the tournament starts on Thursday morning. It's like these guys, they hit it further because they have more adrenaline. It's just it's like a different animal when they get that first tee. And it's I played with Kuch. Different rounds, just playing around different courses. On Wednesdays or Tuesdays, we'll go to a different course sometimes, and it's like he hits it good, but it's like come tournament time, it's just another level. It's crazy.
Last question for you, Brian, and I hope you come back. I could talk golf with you all day long. I mean, it's the most fascinating sport. What do you think is the difference between Matt's won 17 times all over the world? He's one of the most accomplished players in the world. He's won a bronze at the Summer Olympics. I mean, he's done the players. But what's the difference between guys who can win, like Matt, know how to win, and guys that are just really great players? What do you see as the difference out there?
That's a great question. And obviously, there's so many good players, but it sounds cliche. It's the mental game. These guys like Kuch, his game is like he never changes. Come Thursday or Sunday, obviously under pressure, you're going to change it a little bit. I don't care what people say, but he's I've worked for him in different situations, like I said, over the years. And I remember I've kind of brought this on to other players I work with. Like, I worked for him in the playoffs in 2014 at East Lake and then in Boston. And he'd hit it in the worst lie or just have the worst break ever. And he's like, all right, well, see what we can do from here. We'll get this up and down. Or, he's always so positive about that. And that goes a long way in golf. I've worked for guys that are great players as well, and they, winners, but they just, everything turns into a negative, and that just makes it's more stressful on you, and it just makes it's a long day. It wears you out. It's stressful enough to make golf as it is, but then to be negative on top of it, it's you can't do it.
No way. Well, listen, I took up too much of your time. We'll be rooting for you if you want to check in. If you have any time from the players, you want to be our official, our caddy. I know that you got the guy on the ESPN. What's his name? I love him.
Yeah.
Michael.
Michael Collins.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Michael Collins. Yeah, he's funny. He's a good dude. We also have, not the shameless promotion here, but we have the Caddie Network. That's a pretty cool insight on Twitter that you can check out.
I'll follow that. Yeah,
is run by the Caddies. The Caddie Network, and the APTC is kind of our association that has some good stuff just for different players and caddies and kind of good insight. So
y'all should have a Caddies podcast. Seriously. A Caddies.
That we do actually. It's on the Caddie Network, and I've hosted a few of them and done some different musical guests, and we had like happy hour one, which was kind of cool during COVID, where kind of had some beers with some guys and had different guests, so it was kind of fun. So we do have one on there. There's a ton of them on there on that Caddie Network.
All right. Well, the invitation's open. You can be our correspondent anytime, partner. So listen, good luck this week. The players 39 degrees and the wind blowing. Wow. You're going to be working. You're going to be working your ass off this week. So good luck with that.
It'll be fun. It's one of my favorite tournaments. So it'll be fun. Hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit, but love the show. And thanks for having me on.
Hey, well, pull the right club at 17, partner.
I'll try.
No pressure.
I will say I worked for Kyle Stanley there a couple years ago. He birdied that hole every day, which was pretty cool. We finished fourth that year.
Nice.
Finished fourth, lost. But the only other guy that did that, we're both Seminoles here, was Paul Isinger, did that back in like 87 or 88.
That's
so
right.
Only two players have won. Only two players have ever birdied the 17 every day. It was Kyle and Paul Isinger.
Wow, that's an awesome story. That's great. That's good caddying right there, brother. All right, Brian, great
good.
stuff, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the show, number one. Thanks for coming on, and let's stay in touch, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks, JP.
Brian Reed, caddy for Matt Kuchar. Man, I love that stuff. Love the inside stuff. So what did we find out today? That Kuchar and Tiger can go head-to-head in their public flatulence. That's strong. That's strong information right there. All right, take a quick break, and we'll come back on the other side. We're going to do a little bit of NFL catch-up here. We got franchise tags being handed out. What does this mean for the Buccaneers if they have to tag Godwin? We'll get into all that when we come back. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money opportunities and don't know how to do it? There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his medical team over there will take care of all of your health needs in a different type of way. Totally personalized medicine with a plan that is personalized just for you. If you're interested in testosterone replacement therapy, they will do that as well. It's just a different way of taking care of you in a very proactive way where we keep you healthy, looking at your individual diet, your exercise routine, everything about your lifestyle to make you as healthy as you possibly can. So check them out. If you're looking for a new general practitioner, a new personal care person or office, this is the place to do it. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That's BAMMC.com, BAMMC.com. Check out their website. There's a lot of great information there, and I think that'll kind of steer you in the right direction. A lot of doctors are, they're not taking new patients. They definitely are at BAMMC. So if you're thinking about a change, want to go something a little bit more modern and not some of the old tired Western medicine routines of just filling out a script and go take a pill, check them out. BAMMC.com is where you want to be. All right, so the NFL, lots of stuff going on. Headlined by Aaron Rodgers, who evidently has been offered a historic contract by the Green Bay Packers that will keep him in Green Bay well into his 40s. And no decision yet from Aaron Rodgers. And my sense is where the Green Bay Packers are with this cap, if they sign him to this deal, if he agrees to this deal, I don't know how they're getting Preston Smith signed. They've got 5 to 7 really key players, including obviously Devontae Adams, that they want to keep around. Obviously they'll have to keep Devontae Adams to keep Aaron Rodgers, but I don't see how they get everybody else signed.
No, I mean, they've been restructuring contracts left and right.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark, Aaron Jones, some of the bigger ones, but they still have a ways to go to get under the cap. I think they still got like 20 or 25 million to go.
Yeah.
I don't know where this money's coming from for Green Bay. I really don't. And Aaron Rodgers, if he's going to get paid, I mean, he's getting paid, I think, like 33, 34 million right now is his annual salary towards the cap.
Right.
If that goes into the 40s,
which it's going to, if he signs this deal.
is going to. We were saying this was the first year where it felt like the Packers finally had put a roster around him. They had a defense. They had a two-headed monster at running back, and we're thinking, oh, this is the year, right? It didn't work out that way. And also, if you do this,
partially to his poor play.
Yeah,
in the
and if you do this, you're going to undo all that. That work the Packers have done.
Devondre Campbell, their excellent linebacker, corner Rasul Douglas, guys that need to get done. They redid Bakhtiari's contract, Kenny Clark, Aaron Jones, as you mentioned, but they still have a lot to do. Now, and that's, it's going to be very interesting to see. We've seen this a lot over the time in the NFL that if you have a quarterback that takes up, I think the number is like more than 15% of your salary cap, they haven't won a Super Bowl in quite some time.
No. That's why, like Mahomes, I think, is like 49 or 50 million on
Yeah,
the
but
dot.
he won his Super Bowl while he was still on his rookie contract.
He won before it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens after at the moment.
It's going to be tough. Orlando Brown, speaking of the Chiefs, will get the franchise tag at tackle for him, so he'll be sticking around. Now, we mentioned the Bucs, and it feels like that Chris Godwin is going to get the tag because they are not going to let him get away, which means that Carlton Davis III, which the Bucs are not really interested in giving him a long-term deal, will probably get away, and that's not good. So the Bucs will have to go out and sign another corner. They can find one, a man-to-man corner. They're hard to find, even though Carlton is not a guy that gets a lot of picks. He is a very good man-to-man corner, and in order to play this defense the way you need to play it, you got to have guys. You just go look at how this defense plays without him.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, the best case scenario there, if you lose Carlton Davis, I think J.C. Jackson's going to be the best available one, and he's the most prolific, ball hawks corner in the entire league. And the Patriots, I don't think they're going to tag him. He's going to get there, but the problem is, you got to restructure a lot of money, and he probably will earn more than Carlton Davis. So that's wishful thinking, probably. If you're trying to get somebody as good as Carlton Davis, it's just unlikely to happen, I think.
And I think also you're looking at, and I think people will be, well, is this Godwin chasing the money? No, it's Godwin taking care of his career. I don't think Godwin is going to go to the highest bidder and go wherever that takes him, because he doesn't want to lose, but he doesn't know who the long-term quarterback is here. And why would you sign on if you have other options around the league? And everybody wants Chris Godwin, and that's why the Bucs will not make him available to free agency. They're going to tag him, and because they also know that if there's even a ray of hope to get Brady back, then you got to have Godwin. If you let Godwin get away, there's no way Brady's coming back here. No way. No. Not without, and you need to add another really good receiver to entice him to come back. And I do still think that's an option. Although we didn't hear anything this week, I still think, especially with all the noise that was out there last week, that he's coming back. And somehow the Bucs are going to have to massage whatever they got to do to make it more attractive for him to come back. Because right now it just seems like, even though he's not saying it, everything else out there from people that are confidants of him, that he doesn't want to come back to the Bucs for whatever reason.
Well, it sure as hell it won't be the same team that he left.
No,
it's not going to be nearly constructed the same way.
But still could be very, very competitive.
But with Brady, it keeps you in the mix.
Yeah,
right. It elevates the roster around you.
Which is, in the perfect world, right? He would have already announced he's coming back, and we would be reloading with everything. Imagine that dynamic. Imagine that dynamic. If Brady said, I'm coming back for one more year here in Tampa Bay, then what would we be talking about? Oh, Ryan Jensen's going to take less money. Everybody's going to take less money. Everybody's going to put the band back together, blah, 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 blah. There'd be all this optimism. And now there's just ridiculous indecision, and nobody knows. And Godwin's a perfect example. If he knew Brady were coming back for another year, I bet he'd already have a long-term deal done.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But you said it. It just creates so many decisions, question marks. The draft, which I guess we got to start turning our attention to now.
Yes, we do.
We are in the home stretch of that now, and we got to see what happens for first, obviously. But Bucs, there's so many directions that they could go now.
Yeah.
We had that pigeonholed, I thought, to wide receiver. I have no idea now. I have no idea.
I think it's much easier to find a good receiver, an experienced receiver on the open market. There's so many of them that are out there that are good receivers. I think to me, where you're drafting, it's offensive line. This is a draft that's very deep in interior offensive linemen. At 27, you need offensive line. It seems a good fit. It really does. Zion Johnson obviously is one everybody's talking about, but there are other good guards out there that you could just slide right in. And now the corner becomes a huge deal. You got to be able to. If we don't re-sign Carlton Davis, I think corner is almost a must.
Yeah, and I think drafting corners, man, it's such a crapshoot.
It
really is. That's got to be one of the hardest positions to evaluate and try to see who's going to be what in this league. And the Bucs, I don't think, have the greatest history of drafting quarterbacks.
Well, they've spent a lot of draft capital on defensive backs over the last 4 to 5 years. They've selected a lot of them. And, I think these guys, for the most part, you won a Super Bowl with them. Yeah. And they were a huge part of it. So you can't say that they've underperformed, but they certainly haven't overperformed. As much, as high as we've drafted a lot of these guys, Vernon Hargraves is the number one example. That was, that turned out to be a freaking disaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a huge whiff. That whole draft class was a huge whiff. So they've got some priorities, and a lot is going to depend on what happens in the next few days or where they go in the draft.
And let's see what happens with the division too, because the division is wide open right now. It's waiting for somebody to take it. There's all these growing reports that the Saints look like they want Jameis back potentially, and you've seen all the videos. Look like he's probably going to be ready to go soon.
Yep.
So a healthy Jameis, does that keep the Saints in it? How did the Bucs counteract that?
With that defense, I think it does. I think they're still a very good football team.
Yeah.
And I think Jameis was playing really, really well. He had 14 touchdowns, 2 picks at the point he got injured against the Bucs, and it already had, a touchdown against the Bucs, and that offense was humming. So, and they're going to get Michael Thomas back, and I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a suspension of some sort, but he'll be back for the majority of the season. So, interesting times for the NFL, and we're going to learn a lot more in these next few days with these franchise tags, and we'll see where the Bucs are going. This could be an incredibly great offseason for the Bucs, but I think it's probably trending right now more towards a rebuild.
Yeah, and I think being perfectly blunt, it's been borderline disaster, I think, at this point. I don't think this is what we were expecting a month into the offseason.
No.
There hasn't been any. When the best news of the offseason so far is the creamsicles are coming back in 2 years.
Yeah.
To some people, probably not you. When that's the best news, it's
not good.
It doesn't bode well.
The Marpet retirement was a crushing blow.
Shocking for us.
Yeah, shocking blow. And all the reports are that Jensen's going to sign away, and it's going to be a very, very different team. And, this coaching staff is going to have to be at their very best. But I guess the good news is we didn't lose either of our coordinators.
No, I'll give you that. That's one of the best news that they got is they got the continuity there.
The game plans of the Rams game would leave something a bad taste in our mouth from both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I know a lot of Bucs fans out there want Todd Bowles gone, which you need to get off.
Stop that.
You need to get off your whatever island you're on there.
Everybody has a bad day. And even offensively, the game plan against the Rams was awful, I thought.
It was
unimaginative.
It was a bad day at the office, and it happens to everybody. It happened at the wrong time for the Bucs.
Yeah, great comeback and everything, but that no huddle, no up tempo like they did the week before so successfully against Philadelphia. Lack of imagination. It just it looked like there was some disconnect in the coaching and the quarterback. No, there's none of that. That's right. There's no rift. That's of course. There's nothing. There's nothing. And I say that half jokingly because when you're not playing well, offensively, which the Bucs I don't think played. They were putting up some points. They put up points in that game late in the game, but for the most part, they struggled.
They just couldn't protect the quarterback.
Right. Brady got hit 17 times.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It was a bad day already because you didn't have your pieces, and then you compound it with you can't block anybody.
Well, like Tony Dungy said at halftime, you can max protect.
And they waited too long to do it.
They did. So, again, game planning. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to get into Major League Baseball, what's going on with the Rays, how this new CBA is going to affect the Rays, which, by the way, is negatively in every way. This owner is going to have to start spending more money. That's kind of how it's going to work. We'll talk some Rays and MLB, what's going on with the lockout next. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by, in our second hour, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo is your man. He will, and his medical team will take great care of you. Go to BAMMC.com and find out more about the unique personalized care that they have going on at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, so the Major League Baseball Players Association will make a new proposal today, and they will get back together tomorrow. Major League Baseball was claiming that the Players Association took a step backward from a lot of the stuff that they had agreed on. So they got all pissed off yesterday, and they're supposed to get back at it today. I'm tired of all of it, to be honest with you. I mean, these guys are arguing over freaking pennies, this, that, and the other. The owners clearly do not want to play in April when their profits are at the least, and they don't want to pay the players for Aprils. They're trying to pull a fast one. The Players Association knows exactly what they're doing. Like, if any deal we do, we're getting paid for the games that you're missing. So that I think is where they're going to have the biggest sticking point, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I've reached a boiling point with this, and
really
point,
pissed
whatever
off.
you want to call it.
Yeah.
I have no time to hear these guys argue anymore.
I don't.
I have no time for the MLB statement, which I read yesterday. And again, they're blaming everything on the players, which I listen, if you're trying to make me feel bad for you, I'm sorry.
No.
But there's none there. No. There's none there at all. Okay? I told you who I feel bad for. I feel bad for the fans, I feel bad for the players, and I feel bad for the stadium workers, who, by the way, you gave $1 million to 30 team stadium. That really helps.
It's a $10 bill.
Yeah, $10 bill.
I mean,
there
think
you
of
go.
all the people that normally work in Dunedin. Normally work over here at the Yankees complex, the Clearwater complex, all these spring training complexes around here. I mean, not only do these people make, good money doing this stuff, but it's also something that they look forward to. It's like it's a rite of spring passage. We should have, spring training games going on right now, and we don't.
Yeah.
And they're all going to meet in the middle eventually. It just seems like the easiest possible thing to get done. It really does.
To the normal person, it is.
Yes.
It's common sense. You meet in the middle and you move on.
Gazillionaires arguing with millionaires. Get the effing thing done. Let's go.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the things and here's what bothers me. They got things done yesterday. Why? In those issues that they got done yesterday, bigger bases, a pitch clock, banning the shift.
Which I hate.
I'll get to in a second. But these issues are so minuscule. Why are we wasting time on these things? We know what the issues are that y'all are far apart on. It's called money. That's why are we wasting time on issues? You're wasting days, and you're wasting your time. You're wasting our time to argue about the base being bigger. I don't give a shit if the base is bigger. Nobody cares. And you can talk about the shift now. I think this is awful for baseball. Awful. Yeah. Like, we're prioritizing offense. That's what we want to do, right? By banning the shift. Yeah. And Joey Gallo's been running his mouth, by the way. Mr. I hit 190 and I can't hit against the shift, so I'm going to bitch about it. And now he's probably very happy.
Of course.
I mean, learn fundamentals. Where did they go? Did Tony Gwynn have a problem hitting against the shift?
Well, here's the problem is, like, how are we going to enforce this? This is going to be so before the game, before the pitch is made, are we going to have lines on the field now where you can't cross? Like, how exactly is this going to be done? And then, like, when the guy goes into his motion, can you run to a spot? Are you arguing? I mean, it's going to be such ludicrous little minutia when you start legislating who could be where and by what time of the pitch. And I mean, how do you even legislate this shift? I mean, what if a player decides to move over while, when he gets the sign, or when are you allowed to move? I mean, do you have to wait till the ball's hit? I mean, it's stupid. Like, how are you even going to enforce this? Does it make sense?
No, none of it makes sense. There's no explanation for how this is going to work. They're just saying, the shift's over. What does that mean exactly?
But it's not over.
And folks, for the Rays' sake, by the way, I mean, that's what the Rays do.
Yeah, exactly.
They're one of the most frequent teams at using the shift. Teams that use that, they defense, all those things. It's going away now. And it's everybody wants to prioritize offense, and they're trying to nitpick the game.
Right.
I don't understand what's wrong with the game for the life of me.
Why can't they
understand?
Well, I think the fact that it's more analytics driven, where and baseball, and I hear this all the time. Well, we've done the analytics, and it's better to hit a fly ball or get elevation on the ball instead of grounding into a double play. We prioritize nothing but power by the way we scout players and the way players now, the old fundamentals. Like, if you were a good bunter, you could bunt your way into the big leagues by drag bunting and getting an on base percentage of close to 400. You became a great leadoff hitter. You never hit a home run in your life, but those guys were huge parts of the game. Mm-hmm. The Vince Colemans, those guys were Lou Brocks, were speed. These guys were stealing 100 bases a year. Now, if a guy gets 40, it's considered a big deal, because guys don't get on base anymore. Speed is not necessarily as much of a big deal, being able to run the bases, being able to hit the ball the other way. I mean, look at the greatest hitters in the game. Rod Carew, Pete Rose, Ted Williams, Ichiro. I mean, all Derek Jeter, all these guys did it the same way. They went the opposite way. You could never shift on them. They hit the ball. Wade Boggs, sorry, Wade. I mean, they could put the ball anywhere they needed. They would adjust.
Yeah.
And now Wade Boggs wouldn't even get a second look. He's a Hall of Famer. He was a huge part of winning baseball games for the Yankees and the Red Sox. I mean, and I appreciate those skills. Watching Tony Gwynn hit, he maybe never hit more than 20 home runs.
Yeah.
But watching him hit was great.
It was a clinic.
It was a clinic.
And I know people are going to use the argument, and I've been seeing it. Well, guys are throwing 103 now, and everything's moving. Well, that's awesome. Adapt.
Right.
Adapt.
All the more reason you should be sitting back and waiting and serving the ball to the other field.
You need to adapt, and maybe it goes below the major league level. Maybe we need to teach this better. I don't know. As the game adapt, we need to adapt everything as the game changes.
Why don't we start rewarding people who can put the bat on the ball and hit it the other way instead of punishing them?
Juan Soto is 21 years old, 22 years old. That man hits like 350, 360
He's figured
a year
it
now.
out.
I mean, he's hitting whatever. Freddie Freeman, that great left-handed swing. He's always hitting it to every part of the field.
Yeah.
The great ones in this game adapt. I don't have time for Joey Gallo and people who are hitting 200 saying the shift is ruining my career. No, you're ruining your career. Adapt.
Yes.
And there's no reason to give hitters another advantage. I don't care that guys are throwing 100. Adapt.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
So these are basically the sticking points. The union lowered its request on the pre-arb bonus pool. Okay, this is guys in their first 3 years that make the minimum salary. All right, guys like Kyle Tucker, who friend of the show from here at Plant High School, he had 30 bombs last year and made a minimum salary. He would be in line for this bonus pool that would, pay him a few more $1 million based on his production. Like, how can owners be against this? I know it's going to cost them a little bit more money, but boo-hoo. But and the bonus pool, I guess, is money that is equally distributed by every team, right?
Yeah.
So the Rays are going to, give the same chunk that everybody else does, but they're going to get a bigger bang for the buck because their players are going to get paid more money because they typically use young players who are productive. So this, I think, will help them in that way. But where they're hurt is here. The union ceded no ground on its request for the competitive balance tax. That's a luxury tax. They want it to begin at $238 million and grow to $263 million. The league is countered with the threshold that starts at $220 and climbs to $230 million. So they want, obviously. I mean, listen. I mean, look at that. That's like we're talking about $18 million here, on the low end, and that's just the luxury tax. Come on, it's so stupid. The league minimum, the union wants $725 annual raises of $20,000. The league has offered $700,000 annual raises of $10,000. Meet in the middle. Let's go.
How much money is that?
It's nothing. It's nothing. Like what? I mean, this is like they're trying. What this is? This is negotiators wanting to win. They want to win.
They're stalling.
Yeah, they're stalling to get the month over. It's exactly what they're doing.
I'll see you June 1st.
I guarantee you games will start on May 1st.
Or May 1st, yeah.
Or early
May, June, whatever. It's going to happen.
And, because those are the more profitable months for the teams.
But that, to me, if that's the case, then shorten the damn season.
Right, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not in favor of that, but if you're doing this on purpose because of that, shorten the damn season and stop wasting our time.
I don't think any baseball fans would have a huge problem with spring training starting in early March and games starting May 1st. I don't have a problem with it. The golf season is heating up in March.
I'm old. I just love the February spring training is a favorite of mine. I love it.
Okay, I get it. But for the most part, I don't think anybody's going to be pissed off if it's, we go from 162 games to 135. Oh
God, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
I hate that, man.
Well, whatever. But if it keeps him from doing this stupid shit, then I'm fine. But anyway, let's just hope that this thing gets done. As far as the Rays go, we talked a little bit about this in the open. No new news on this, but coming down the track here in March, we are expected to get the Hillsborough County TSA proposal for the full season, like what they're going to be able to come up with. And I fully expect the public money portion to be in the $350 million range. Okay. And then the $350 million come from the raise to get to $700 million. And then the naming rights of about $200 million over the life of the stadium to get you to 900 to $1 billion, which will give you a beautiful stadium in Ybor. It would have some type of roof on it, whether it would be what did they call it? The roof screening or shade screen of some type. Yeah, whatever.
The Walmart version of a roof.
Whatever, if it's innovative and it keeps people cool in the shade, fine. Or a fixed roof. Because, and by the way, people say, well, why not a retractable? A retractable adds about $200 million. And when you do the weather analysis, you're only going to have the roof open for about 15 games a year. It just, the cost analysis on it is just not great. But I hope, they got to find a way to have real grass. Whatever they do, they need to find a way to have real grass in that stadium, because to me, that's important. It just changes the whole feel of the game. It changes the whole feel of the stadium, in my opinion. But I do believe that this is going to get done. Now, what is, at least it puts it in the Rays court. Now, I think the Rays are going to try to stall some more and give credibility to a St. Pete plan, which will probably have a better financial option for them in many ways. But Major League Baseball is never going to agree to build another stadium in St. Petersburg. The demographics don't work. They don't want it there. Sternberg knows that. Sternberg knows that Major League Baseball will not allow them to build another stadium in St. Petersburg. And it's just nothing more than a negotiating ploy. Once again, bad faith negotiating by the Rays. This is what I fully expect them to do, because that's just the way Stu Sternberg operates. He gets and everybody. But here's the caveat to that. This lawsuit, which last week was ruled upon, is going to be a jury trial for the one count, which is the count that is talked about the fiduciary lack of responsibility, fraud, and everything else that these partners are alleging on Stu Sternberg, and have mountains of evidence to back it up. That's the one the judge said, this is a different bird. We're going to take that to a jury trial. Major League Baseball is not going to let this discovery happen and all these things that happen out in public in terms of jury trials. So Rob Manfred's going to have to make a decision. Stu Sternberg's going to have to clean this up in one way or another. Now, he can either do that by selling, stepping down as a managing general partner, which I don't think will ever happen. He'll sell before he does that. And if that is done, the new owner is without question going to approve this deal and move forward. Any owner would. The only person that wouldn't is Stu Sternberg. So I think in the end, as I said, when this lawsuit came out, this is a major, major win for us, the public, that want to get rid of Stu Sternberg and get our team out of the clutches of the Wicked Witch, get it into Ybor City with a public-private partnership that will benefit everyone. And so I think I've never been more positive on this happening, and it's going to happen eventually. So we're happy about that. Do we have to hit another break?
No, we don't have to. No.
We're plowing through.
We can plow through.
All right. So that's where baseball sits right now. I think that we're going to see baseball games starting in May. And I think you're going to see the Rays playing in a new stadium in Ybor in 26 or 27.
Yeah. And the other wrinkle, I don't know if we touched on it, they also proposed an international draft. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah. I think this is long overdue.
This is way long overdue, because the bigger issue here is, and I did a story on this for Outkick, is that 12-year-olds in like Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico are making like handshake deals with major league teams. And what happens is there's a greater urgency to be great. There's less focus on school. I mean, burnout happens, the increased use to PED use.
Yep.
So they definitely need a system here in place, because it's the wild, wild west right now.
Yeah. They've got to put a system in place. And also I think it's a huge advantage for these international players. To be able to be drafted and dealt with, because once you make an investment in a player, as an organization, you want to give that player every chance to come through. Whereas these players in the United States are all getting drafted, and they have to wait till they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old to get drafted. So these younger players, there's more investment into them. So organizations tend to stick with those players. So I think there's an inherent advantage for international players over domestic players, and that's not fair for the kids that are growing up here.
Yeah, and on the surface for the Rays, it sounds like a disadvantage for them because they've been known. I mean, look at Wander Franco for evidence.
Yep.
To use their international draft pool money to the fullest extent before they get the tax overages. And that's what's allowed them to get some of that great talent. When this happens, the proposed idea is you're going to be put six teams are going to be put in 5 different groups, right? And it's going to be just a randomized order, like alternating every 5 years. So it's not going to be based on win-loss or anything.
Right.
So theoretically, a team could win the World Series and next year they have the first pick in the draft. So it's going to be crazy. But it should bring more balance to the international market.
I think so as well. I think, but all of these changes for the most part are not going to favor the Rays and the way they've done business in the past, being able to field really competitive teams on low payrolls.
No, it's going to force them
because the union doesn't want that.
Yeah.
The union hates the Rays. That's why they filed grievances against them. Yeah. By the way, did you go see the Batman?
I have not seen the Batman yet. I learned after we talked that the Batman is 3 hours long. And
3 hours.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about sitting in a movie theater for 3 hours. I did it for Avengers Endgame. That's a little bit different though. For 3 hours for Batman, I heard it's a bit slow and you have to really stay focused.
3 hours is a long time.
That's a long time in a movie theater for something that I'm not really like, jumping to go see, So
you may not do it.
I might be a TV guy when that comes out.
Okay. But it's a big movie. You got to see the big movies in the.
That's true. But
right.
I might. We'll see.
All right. What else is going out over there at Outkick where you work?
Lots of combine coverage wrapping up here from Armando.
I didn't watch much the combine. Give me a little rundown on what we saw at the combine. Besides Zion Johnson, 32 reps on the.
Everybody's raving about Jordan Davis, the big man from Georgia.
He's so big.
Yeah, 4.78 running at 340 pounds.
He ran a 4.78.
4.78.
Holy
at
hell!
340 pounds. The fat, he's running faster than tight ends.
You see pictures. You know his story, right? His story is a great one.
I don't know the full thing, no.
So his mom, single mom, kid wasn't, he was kind of a awkward kid growing up, obviously huge, big kid, wasn't really into anything specific, but played a lot of computer games, just was kind of one of those kids that came home from school and got on the computer. And, obviously she was concerned about his health and getting more socialized. And so he did, he tried out a couple of sports, and I think he was into basketball, but he was just really big for basketball and never really wanted to play football. Coaches wanted him to play, obviously. So one day they were out for driving around, and she went by the football field and he said, "Hey, you want to play football?" He's like, "No, I don't want to play football." So it somehow tricked him to get out of the car, and she just drove away. I think the coaches, I think she worked something out with the coaches. So he had he had to go play. So he hated it the first 2 weeks, couldn't stand it, begged his mom to not let him play. And then, he started getting the hang of it and was really, really good at it. Nobody could block him, obviously.
I can see that.
Yeah. And so, he started the kids really rallied around him, and he found a place of belonging and all that. And now he's going to be a first-round pick and secure generational wealth for his entire family for years to come. And that's a situation, as a parent, you run into these things all the time. Your kids don't want to do certain things, but it's good for them. And you battle, but there's a point where the kid ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just ruining everybody's life. So it's a fine line, but there's also points where you got to push through. It's going to be the best for them.
Yeah.
And when that works out, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
He looks like a great kid. I mean, great smile, personality, and he was having fun there because The Rock tweeted at him. It was like that brother can run,
Yeah,
and he was having a good time with that. Seeing The Rock shout him out, and the combine, you would call it the underwear Olympics or whatever, but sometimes there's a clear winner that could take you into the top of the first round, and he has gone from maybe the back end of the first round to the top 10 pick. He's become that now because of his performance at the combine. He showed how fast he is, how quick for that size. I mean, you liken him to Vita Vea. I think he's got maybe more a bit of a pass rush niche than Vita does. So he's probably going to be in the top 10.
Why are you always banging on my boy Vita?
I'm not bigging on your boy Vita. I'm being honest. Vita Vea gets 4 to 5 sacks a year.
Right.
Okay. End of story. Mr. Interior Rusher over there.
Yeah. Well, but he's making hay for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. What else we got here? Anthony Beck came on our show the other day and said, you know, they like Hainsey. They like a lot of these guys that they have already in camp as far as their backup offensive lineman. Aaron Stinney's a free agent, but I think they're going to try to bring them back. But you know, I think we're going to see a definite draft focus on offensive linemen now that they've and frankly, that's the best place to be. Best place to find them. They're hard to find on the open market. They really are in free agency. They found him in Ryan Jensen. That was a huge pickup. But they're hard to find. It's much better to develop them. And, you know, Jason Light's had a pretty good track record of drafting offensive linemen. He seems to do good at no clue on running backs.
No,
stay away from kickers.
No,
stay away from the kickers.
They're gonna go heavy after running backs. You've seen like the Dameon Pierce. They're heavy on Dameon Pierce from Florida.
I like that kid.
Which
man.
I love him.
The way he I saw him running this last season. I'm like, where has this guy been? I guess he was injured in Florida a lot.
No, it was actually Dan Mullen, his incompetence.
Well, he
was the number one running back at PFF, and he played like he had under 100 carries this year.
That's crazy. Because every time he touched the ball, he looked like he did something good. All right, good stuff. Our thanks to Brian Reed, who joined us, Matt Kuchar's caddy. If you're into golf, we had a fascinating conversation, and including the rankings of public flatulence for PGA players out there, which is very interesting, I thought. So if you may think, download the app, tap that app each and every day. You can fast forward, you can go backward, do whatever you want, find out something you want to listen to, and listen to us any time of the day, middays, afternoon drive, morning drive, and of course, we're live 10 to 12. We'll be back tomorrow. Scott Reynolds will join the show. We'll see you then.